About family justice. What you need to know about the adoption of children under the age of 21 years in Singapore. 4 common scenarios where adoption can arise include: in a reconstituted family by one parent with a new step-parent, through adoption agencies or third parties where the child and applicants are usually unrelated, by foster parents where a child protection order may still be in effect, or by a single parent of children born out of wedlock. What are some eligibilities required for an adoption? The child to be adopted must be below 21 years old and unmarried and a resident in Singapore. You must be at least 25 years old and at least 21 years older than the child, but exceptions may apply. If you are married, you may adopt jointly with your spouse. If you and your spouse are applying to adopt a child, one of you must be a Singapore citizen or both of you must be permanent residents and habitually resident in Singapore. If you are married but adopting solely, consent of your spouse is required unless you are separated. If you are applying to adopt a child as a sole applicant, you must be either a Singapore citizen or a permanent resident. You must also be habitually resident in Singapore. Do note that a single male applicant cannot adopt a female child unless special circumstances exist. For more information on eligibility to adopt, please refer to the MSF website. Relevant consents. You will need to obtain and file the consents of the biological parent, guardian, person with actual custody of the child, and the person who is liable to support the child financially. Please refer to the MSF website for more information on the form for the consent of a relevant person. If you are unable to obtain the consent of these persons, you will need to file an application for dispensation of their consent explaining why you are unable to obtain such consents. Pre-filing points to take note of. Before you file an adoption application, you must obtain a letter of eligibility to adopt from an MSF-authorized adoption agency. Please refer to the MSF website for more information. To obtain a letter of eligibility, all applicants are required to attend a pre-adoption briefing and a disclosure briefing conducted by MSF's authorized adoption agencies and obtain a favorable adoption suitability assessment from these agencies before making an application to the court. Filing of documents. The applicant would need to file the following documents in court. 1. An originating application for adoption. 2. A supporting affidavit verifying the auto-generated originating application for adoption and exhibiting all documents in support of the application, including the letter of eligibility to adopt. 3. The birth certificate of the child. 4. Any relevant consents. 5. Any affidavit in support of the application for dispensation of consent or service. Hearing stages. If all documents are in order, the court will fix a hearing. You must serve the application on MSF before the hearing. At the hearing, the court may dispense with any consent required or direct for the application to be served on any relevant person whose consent has not been obtained. After the application has been served on MSF, the Guardian in Adoption or GIA will start investigations into circumstances surrounding the adoption and of the applicants and/or their family. The GIA will prepare a report on its findings and make recommendations on the adoption. This may take a few months depending on the complexity of the case. When the report is ready, the court will then fix a second hearing. At the second hearing, the court may clarify the findings of the GIA, direct the GIA to conduct further investigations, or interview the applicants or the child regarding issues raised by the GIA before making a decision on the application. The court may decide to grant a final adoption order, which may include certain conditions, grant an interim adoption order, which means that the court will postpone making final orders and give the applicants custody of the child in the meantime, or refuse to make an adoption order if certain criteria are not met. Post-hearing. After the adoption order is made, the applicants should extract the adoption order together with the schedule. Applicants should also ensure that the details of the child and the biological parents are as stated in the child's original birth certificate. The court will transmit these to the Immigration and Checkpoints Authority, or ICA, for you to obtain a new birth certificate for the child. The ICA may request that you make any clerical amendments to the schedule. To do so, you need to file an application for amendment with the court. For more information, please visit the Singapore Court's website. You may also find the information on the MSF website to be useful.